Looking for some straight-up marketing advice that's super chilled and also a bit of a laugh? Then grab yourself a drink and get ready for Marketing and Margaritas, a podcast that makes marketing entertaining. Brought to you by Rebel Nation, direct from regional Queensland.
Hello and welcome to Marketing and Margaritas. Today we are talking about figuring out Facebook. So someone actually pointed out that we hadn't done this kind of episode on Facebook.
I've now had a couple other people point it out too since I spoke to you about that.
Thanks guys, we appreciate the feedback. Anytime you want to hear about a specific topic, please let us know.
It's like, you've done LinkedIn and Instagram, why not Facebook? And I'm like, oh, it's too hard.
Look, there is a reason. Facebook changes all the flipping time.
And it's probably the one I reckon that changes the most in general, but also, as we've all seen, like in the last, 2 years, with the migration to like Creator Studio and then Meta Suite, and now getting rid of Creator Studio.
Business Studio at the moment.
Yeah, which is Suite. Which is Meta Business Suite is what we use, sort of thing. So it's been a lot, and it's also kind of shit.
Well, the thing is, even with the training, we'll have an agenda and stuff, and we'll be like, okay, so you find this over. Oh, just hold your horses. It's not here anymore.
It's not there anymore. Give me 2 minutes. All right, now it's over here.
Yeah, so that's fun.
It's a lot of fun. So, yes, we will cover Facebook as a rundown, but it's going to be not the technical sense of how to use Meta Business Suite, because it is not only changing a lot, but people have different versions of it still.
Yes.
So it's very challenging, but we're going to go over what we think are the most important takeaways for using Facebook for business.
Bit of an overview, I guess.
Yeah.
So first off the bat is to have a purpose. Don't just be on Facebook, because everyone's on Facebook.
Yes, and I think too, it's like, is having a purpose is in having a strategy when you're on there. And a strategy doesn't need to be some big, massive document and think session or whatever. It can just be a matter of running through the basics, which are figuring out why you're on Facebook to start with.
Yeah, so who's your audience?
Yeah, and then what key messages you want to be letting them know. So if you go, okay, we've got a Facebook page, it's like, well, why do you actually have it? Like, is it to promote your products and services? Is it to grow your email database? Is it to generate website traffic? Is it to, create a recruitment pipeline? Is it all of those things? What is it that you're actually using Facebook for? What is its purpose in your marketing? And obviously your marketing goals should align with your business goals as well. And then, yes, who is the audience specific to Facebook?
Yes.
So when you look at those, why am I on here? It's like, for each of those things, who are the people that relate to that? So, for example, if it was recruitment pipeline, you'd be like, yes, there's the people who are going to apply for the jobs, but it could also be like, their mums or their partners or their siblings or whatever as well. So it's thinking about which audiences you're trying to reach to achieve those goals. And are those people on Facebook?
Yeah. And so when you hone into that, you start to look at their habits and their patterns. So when they are on Facebook, so when you're actually doing your content creation, you can really hone into those people and talk to them specifically. So, nutting out the purpose and these three things really helps with your content creation. It makes it so much easier.
And that's why doing this strategy part is not to make it so that some big thinky thing that you do that gets put aside. It's actually to help you streamline what you're doing, but it's strategic in the sense of, like, you're not just doing it because you think you have to, like, you're trying to achieve a certain purpose. So it's, it's something to actually make time for in your marketing and whatever.
And having that up and forefront when you're doing your social media, it works as a prompt.
So, like, for us, we have our content calendar template, and the bottom of it has a strategy summary. So it's not a full big strategy written out. It's just a summary of goals, audience, key messages, hashtags, etc.
If that is your whole strategy, that's fine.
And that's all it needs to be, at least to start with. And like we said, those key messages as well. So if you know what goal, like, why am I on Facebook? Who is going to help me achieve those things?
What is my message?
What is it that I need to tell those people to achieve that goal?
Yeah.
So if it is about recruitment, then yes, you need to be posting your jobs available and stuff on there, but you also want to be showcasing your culture.
Yes.
You want to be demonstrating how how you guys live your values and what those values are.
Yeah.
And
we have good work-life balance. We, celebrate our team members' achievements, those kind of things.
Yeah. And so it could be like, you might have little profiles on your staff members to, show how you've got like some really wonderful people working for you, and it's like a really friendly team environment. And so it's not just about, okay, we want to do recruiting, so we're going to post jobs.
Yeah, there's 5 different styles of posts right there.
It's looking at that that broader thing.
All right, so number 2 off the bat is make consistent Make consistent quality your standard.
Yes. So when you are posting, I think sometimes we can all get caught in the mix of like, oh, we need to get something up.
Yeah.
And so you just,
Reactive posting.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of a waste of time for you, but it's also a waste of time for your audience. Mm-hmm. And if the content that you're putting out half the time is just shit, then you're not going to grab my attention, even when you do good stuff, because I've tuned out to you already and potentially you're like not in my algorithm anymore either.
Yeah, you've already missed the boat there.
Yeah, 100%. So it's about consistency and quality.
Yeah.
And that is your standard at all times. So we've got a few points about each one of them. So consistency, I think knowing what your brand personality is helps a fuck ton in this. And I know that people think that values and personality, all this kind of stuff isn't necessary, but it's one of those things that when you actually are on the other side, like when you've worked out what your brand personality or your brand values or whatever, when you've worked them out, it makes it so much easier to do consistent marketing.
Yeah.
Your tone of voice, how you write, your visuals, everything aligns with that personality. So if you do that, you just create this really consistent look and feel across all of your marketing, not just your socials. And if you want to know how to do the brand personality part, we have that as an episode somewhere. I can't remember. We'll put it in the show notes. That's me writing down, putting in the show notes so I don't forget for you. And so next up is also templates. So templates, for example, we use Canva.
I love Canva templates. So anytime someone talks to us about social media managing, and we do a lot of clients, I'm like, how about we help you with some of these as well?
Because even if we don't ask for it, Lani's just always like, oh, P.S., I just put some Canva templates on the bottom there.
It's not a fries with that situation. We use it a lot for our
because you do socials.
marketing.
You know how convenient it is to have those.
Look, we say to our clients, we'll need some photos to go with that post. How often do you, in your business, are you taking photos every day? Unless you're a photographer, you're really not.
I'm in marketing. I literally do it maybe not even half the time. I'm so shit at it.
No, and we have prompts everywhere. Literally on the top of our agenda list is for us to take a photo of this podcast.
Which we haven't even done.
We have not done that yet. So, okay, we all get shit at taking photos. Having templates that are branded, consistent, we've already talked about, brand aligned, personality, they are just gold. So,
and I think too, it's that mix of having some of them that are text-based templates.
Yes.
So some graphics you might just want to put in a testimonial from a client, or you might want to put, say, an event name and date, just some keywords. So you just have ones that are text only.
Yeah.
But then also having ones that are image. That are for, we put photos in too, because not all of us are very good at taking photos even when we remember to take them. So sometimes you can, popping them into a template can make them look a little bit nicer, a bit professional. You can also use it to cover up any shit bits.
Yes, filters. Filters are really handy.
Filter on that shit, man.
Look, black and white looks fantastic.
Why do you think all of the Insta photos I do are black and white?
Why do you think I mentioned it?
Yeah, we all know how bad I am at that.
So yes, templates are fantastic. So like Jade said, we use Canva for design templates. But if you're structuring a lot of posts, you could maybe have a formula for how you do some stuff there as well.
Yes, you might have a certain template in the sense of like for example, when we do clients' social media for them, we have a cheat sheet, which is some of this strategy stuff, but then we also have a little bit of we've got a template of all of the hashtags that we regularly like to use for them, so we're not writing them each time. We can just copy and paste.
Yeah.
That cheat sheet template also has what that tone of voice is so that we don't forget, and we also sometimes will put certain structures into the for different topics.
Oh, as examples?
Yeah, exactly. So for example, if I was a real estate, then I would actually be wanting to, you're going to have a lot of house posts, but I would actually recommend keeping your house posts, majority of them, when you do say for example a new listing, having a certain structure,
because you're going to be looking for price or how many bedrooms or that,
and that's what your audience then gets to know what your structure is, and that you've got all that information for them. And then if you were doing an open house, you might write that a little bit different each time, but say your just listed always has a certain template, a certain structure, and so that's what I would put into that document as well.
And with that, you're not going to miss information because it's already structured out.
And even just emojis that you commonly use and stuff, all of the stuff is just to make it so it's easier for you to do to have to be posting consistently because it's not taking up as much time.
No, you might spend an hour thinking about all these things and making a note about it, but when you're actually doing it's only a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And having it all there and handy and stuff like that.
Or
you're not scrolling back and going, oh, what did I do for this last time? Which is literally what I've done before too.
But it means you can also hand it over. So if you've got changes in staff or you're wanting to offload this job to somebody else, then you're like, here you go. Here's what someone prepared earlier.
Templates and stuff. You just do it now.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, there's one more there, which is scheduling and batching.
There's 2 more.
Okay, you can have another one.
Oh, thanks. You're so generous. So scheduling and batching, I highly recommend that. Not only does it make life easier on yourself, it also means that you are being more strategic with your content. Basically, scheduling and batching means, like, for example, when you first started out, you might do it so that you are just scheduling out 2 weeks worth of content at a time.
Yeah.
So you set an appointment for yourself and have it recur every fortnight, so you're not having to you don't have to find time to do your socials. It's actually just part of your routine.
Yeah.
And then once you get good at doing it every fortnight, you probably will want to move to monthly at some point. And that's what we do our social media management as. So, like, for example, the girls do not just girls, sorry, there's dudes as well. The crew do their content calendars mid-month for the next month.
Yeah.
Then they get that approved. And so then in that last week of a month, they're scheduling all of the content for the following month sort of thing. So it's basically, so they're not just posting every week or anything like that. They're batching their time and using the scheduling function so that they're being efficient with it, but it's also proactive, strategic content rather than reactive sort of, I've got to get this done.
And that doesn't have to be all you post. Like, that can be your baseline. If you're out at an event and you want to be popping up a selfie of like, hey, we're here, make sure you come and see us, or something like that, they're bonus posts.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
100%.
have to wait till the following month to go up, hey, we did this thing ages ago, nobody cares anymore, but here's a photo that we took.
Oh, and the thing is, though, for things like that, you can actually do that. So we have one client who they send us through when they finish a project, like all the photos and everything from it. No one knows they finished it in February. Like, if we post it in April, and then we'll do a wrap up at the end of the year of here's all the projects that we did. So we repurpose that shit too, you know what I mean? But yes, if you're at like International Women's Day or something like that, you wouldn't be like a month later, here I am enjoying International Women's Day.
Yeah, you might miss the algorithm on that one. There were so many posts the other week for that.
But I think it's also really important to schedule in that time to be doing your content creation and writing your posts and scheduling them out, creating your graphics, all that sort of stuff, planning, for any photos you do want to get during the month and putting in reminders and stuff for that. Because at the end of the day, like, if Facebook is going to be an important part of your marketing strategy for whatever, its purpose is, then you have to make time for it. It's not just going to happen. And I think marketing is one of those things that gets put to the side so easily. As a marketing agency, we are so not immune to that shit. Like, I get it. But at the same time, you don't get something for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just half-ass something and then be like, why isn't this working? It's like, because you're shit at it. Like, put proper time in, have a proper go at it, and then see whether it works for you.
Exactly. And we're not saying you have to be posting every single day for the whole month.
No. And that's the thing, consistency is about, whether it might only be that you start off with doing 2 posts a week and then graduate to 3 posts a week, etc.
And you might repurpose that content onto your LinkedIn or your Instagram. Like, it might not even be the different across your different platforms. As long as you're present and consistent.
Yeah, and actually paying attention to when you're doing it. So if you've got that scheduled time, you're like, this is my time that I sit here and try and do a good job of this, as opposed to being like, oh my God, I haven't finished this yet and I've got to get this up and like that'll do sort of thing.
We did stuff and things.
Not that stuff needs to be perfect, but purposeful.
Yes.
Not perfect, purposeful.
So if you are struggling with content ideas while you're sitting down doing your scheduling, we also have a very old episode of content themes.
Yes, which was our other point for consistency as well. So having content themes can cut down your time when you're actually creating content, because instead of going, okay, I've got to do, if you're doing 2 posts a week for the month, that's 8 posts. And you're like, oh, I've got to think of 8 posts. Whereas if you've got 4 content themes, like, so one might be intro to staff, one could be project update, one might be industry update, one might be local events.
Yeah.
And so you just need to do 2 of each of those and then you're done.
Yeah.
So content themes can really help a lot in streamlining your time, but it also, it's consistency as far as timing goes, but it also gives you consistency in hitting different key messages.
Yes.
So it can help you make sure that you've got a variety of topics that you're hitting to help you achieve your goals and hit all those different messages, as opposed to just posting the same sort of thing over and over again. But yes, there is a content themes episode.
I think that was our second episode, so do not judge us for quality.
We judge ourselves enough. Trust me, you do not need to put further judgment on.
Our motto was like, just give it a go.
Which, to be fair, we do a lot of the time, and I'm happy with that, but literally those first like 2 or 3 episodes, I'm like, should we take these down?
I feel like it's a progress report for us. It's nice to reflect back.
Yeah, for us. We don't need everyone to be able to reflect on it.
It's got good content.
We can redo content.
Offline. Anyway. Okay, so that was about consistency. Now we want to talk about quality.
Yes, so quality. So one of the things that I think helps a lot is actually collecting inspiration from others. So I know for myself...
Not stealing ideas, collecting inspiration.
It
Marketing
is.
spin. Love it.
Well, I don't know about you, but like I never even when I come up with ideas on my own, like in a brainstorm, I hardly ever actually use them the way they are. Like they always get modified before they go live anyway.
Okay.
But I just think that when you sit down at like, you know, a blank Canva template or a blank post or anything like that, it can be really challenging to just think of an idea just spontaneously because you happen to have scheduled that time to.
I hate that white page.
Yeah, fuck oath, man. Whereas if you, basically it's like if you see things that you like, whether it's the graphic, whether it's the copy, whether it's just the post, how they do anything about it, screenshot it and save it into an inspo folder for yourself. And then when you have that scheduled time to sit down and create your content, you can flick through and get inspired and be like, oh yeah, that's right. I saw these guys using these hashtags and I thought I'd try them out. Or I really like how they had the title across the image of the venue for that event. I want to do something similar. You know what I mean? So it basically gets your creative juices started. And so I just find that's a really good way of creating more quality content because you've actually thought about what's worked.
Yeah, but you don't have to drop everything and go work that out right now. You can just save that for later.
Yes,
Love
basically.
it.
Yes, 100%. Another thing on quality is to always be collecting. So whether it is images and
Note
videos.
to self.
Shut up. You are not any better than me. No, you're not. I don't think. I was just like, maybe, hold on, you are a bit of me. No,
I get locked in the office all week. Lay off. Anyhow,
you're not
what was
better
your point?
remembering than me to get photos. Is my point. No, that's not my point. My point is if you're always collecting stuff and getting into the habit of it, then you build that content bank.
Yeah.
And it means that when it comes to doing, you know, for example, project updates or here's behind the scenes of the staff setting up for events and all that kind of stuff, then it's better quality content because rather than just having a stock image or a random graphic or something.
Or always using that text template that we just mentioned.
Exactly. You've actually got some real videos or photos or whatever to use, and that's just going to be better quality. If you know, it'll get you more eyeballs and stuff in your posting.
And that's one I like to outsource. So give me cheek, but if you talk to your team about this and go, hey, if you're here, like you're a mechanic or you're a fitter or something, you're out on site, you fix this big massive truck, take a photo of it, or if there's a cool thing that you've seen, share it through. And because you don't know what might be useful.
Oh, absolutely. And especially a lot of our clients who do those kind of service sort of things as well. Like if you're in the service industry, there's a lot of people who actually will need to take photos as part of their job, or they're starting to use images as part of their job tracking and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, when you're getting photos that are specific for job tracking, could you also maybe take 1 or 2 with one of your crew in it as well?
Yeah.
And that just, you're building on that habit that they're already doing, and that can then get used for your socials.
Perfect.
And obviously if you're a product-based business, then you would, you've got your products, so you can get photos of those. And then if you're professional services like us, where what you do is either sit in meetings and talk to people or sit on a computer and do computer work, if you have any ideas about that, send it through us.
Or what, computer selfies are not on trend anymore?
Remember when it was COVID and it was just like everyone's fucking socials was the Zoom meetings?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, oh, here we're doing business different. Here we are doing business. And it's just like all of these Zoom selfie things. It was horrible because it's so grainy and shit.
Nah, I just mostly took photos of me and my dog working.
Well, Pip is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, how could you not? Another thing with that always be collecting is also for copy too. So if you have clients or prospects or anything who send you through questions, or if you see comments or feedback or whatever from people, I would also be capturing those.
Yeah.
Because any FAQs that are coming through or any comments and feedback from people gives you more quality content. Because if it's FAQs, obviously these are questions that people are actually asking. So if one person's asked, chances are there's a heap of other people who also want to know the answer. And if it's comments and feedback and stuff, then you can actually use people's own words to describe whatever it is that you do.
Yeah.
So, like we might say, oh, we do, content optimization for conversions. And people, like, probably no one else says stuff like that. You know what I mean?
That's not everyday language.
So, like, we might have a client ring up and be like, hey, can you, like, make my website better so I get more clients? It's like, oh, that's how people say that. Cool, we'll keep that for later.
Yeah. That's
So,
very
yes.
handy.
Yes, I think so too. That's why it's one of the tips.
All right, so the next one we want to talk about is increasing your reach.
Okay, so there's 2 more on quality.
Great.
should we do those first?
I suppose so. I'm just getting excited.
You are, yeah. Okay, so content bank, so we kind of touched on this, but basically it's making sure that all of the stuff that you're collecting and any graphics that you create, anything like that, name it properly and save it.
I just assumed that was an automatic thing if people are that organised.
Oh, have you taken over the reins from someone doing their own socials before? Holy crapola. People's stuff is a mess.
Maybe I'm just used to working for the Nazi that I already work for.
Ah, that's an extreme term. Accurate.
Not everyone has a file name convention.
No, they don't.
They should.
Thank you. It's good. Hey. So yes, content banks. If you ever use something, if people send it to you,
All those photos you're getting, save it in a folder.
Save it in one folder. And I know it sounds really basic, but seriously, people do not do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I've used that, so like they'll just like download it to their desktop, use it, and then
gone forever.
And then that's it, sort of thing. It's like, no, save it all into a folder, because you could do an end of year wrap up, or you might do like
Oh, well, the thing is, just because you've posted it once doesn't mean everyone has seen it either.
100%. Oh yeah, you do socials a lot more than I do.
Yeah, repurpose that shit.
What's an example of how you repurpose stuff?
I do that all the time. So I've got the content themes, I've got a brainstorm of different topics that I'm focusing on, and yeah, quite often I'll use the same photos. Not each week or each month, but they come back around because the topic I'm talking about is still the same.
Yeah.
Messages is still the same, and I'm doing it across multiple platforms. So I've got slightly different audiences there and slightly different post topics. So you can use the visuals in multiple ways.
And I think too, it's like, like take for example one of yours, so Hooked on Mackay, Barra season happens every year. So if you've got like, if you've used a Barra photo because someone caught a big Barra or whatever, then you can reuse that photo when it's Barra season next year to be like, here's the announcement post sort of thing.
One of my all-time highest reaching posts was like a photo that was 5 years old. Because it's the biggest Barra that's been caught out of Kinchin. Like that photo, there's nothing wrong with that photo. It's just, it was topical and everyone got really excited about it again. It doesn't matter that it's old.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So like saving those things so that it's easy for you to repurpose it.
And naming them like we've just said.
Yes. Yes, naming things properly. It's very useful. And so lastly here, I just had, when it comes to quality, is also just thinking about if it's something that you would read, or is it something like when you're putting together copy and an image or graphic or whatever, would you stop to look at it? And this is something, I'm not saying that this is an easy one, like it sounds simple, but it's actually really hard when you write socials month on month for someone to, for yourself or whatever, to write something that you actually think is interesting when it's something you've written about a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's simple, but if you want quality content, it's really important to actually make sure that what you're doing is good, even if you've been doing it for 6 months.
If you get stale, this is something we do in the office, is we'll do a team brainstorm. We'll bring in other people, that might
Freshen shit up.
Yeah, might not know the client or the content, just to get some random ass ideas and, like you said, freshen it up, zest it up. We'll alternate who works on different projects just to get a different take on things. But really importantly, and on this point, is a 2 sets of eyes policy is always really good too, especially if you're getting stale or if it's new to you, or just if you're struggling, because
helps with your quality control, 100%.
Yeah, those little typos and things are so easy to miss, and that goes back to that consistency. If you've always got a little mistake in it, that's not looking good for your brand. So just, you don't have to do it alone, pretty much.
And I think too, that's where collecting inspiration can also be helpful when it comes to your own quality of rather than just every month sitting down and pumping out a bunch of posts, it's like whether you do have your little inspo folder or whether you've got a few bookmark pages of other people who do socials in a way that you like, you can go, before you start writing, go and have a bit of a look at what someone else is doing and then start writing your content, because that, not only I think does it kind of give you some different ideas, but it also kind of makes you lift your game a little bit more.
Yeah, and that might even be looking at your competitors, whether they're in the same town or whether they're interstate, just to get an idea of what is going on in the industry as well, because quite often there's either 2 ways of doing it. You're either really super focused on what your competitors are doing, or you're just happy
no fucking idea what anyone else is doing.
Happy to row your own boat. So
that's such a nice way of putting that. I like that.
Very diplomatic, hey? So having a sneak peek of what other people are talking about, what they might be doing well or not well, can be in that inspo.
And I think that's the thing. Marketing, obviously I'm in marketing, so it's easy for me to say this, but I just think marketing is not something where you just tick a box of I've scheduled out Facebook for the month, or, I've done this or done that. It's like, yes, you did it, but did you do it well?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just do something and expect people to flock to you when you've not put any effort or time or thought into it. You do actually need to try and make something good if you want to get a result from it. Now, having said that, there's probably plenty of shit content out there that gets great results. I'm not saying that doing something well never is necessarily the standard in all cases.
Just as long as you're trying.
I think so. That's what I mean. I just think if you go, okay, I'm going to sit down and write my posts, and then you've got a couple photos and you just write some random shit and then post all out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just don't think it's good enough. If you actually want to get a result, I just don't think it's good enough to tick a box. I think you actually have to try.
Wow, hard truths coming out here. Okay, are we ready to move on to the next point now?
Yes! I mean, you have the same agenda that I do, so...
Okay, so increasing your reach. Obviously, that's if you're already on Facebook, which most of us are, that's the goal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're there, you want to talk to more people because more people means more money for your business, which means, I get to go on holiday. No, you don't, because you got to work too much.
That's actually a really accurate summary of having a business.
Yeah.
Have I told you how terrified I am to take a month off this year? I don't know if I want to. I'm worried. It's going to be big.
It would be fine.
No, it won't.
Okay, so how do we increase our reach?
Yes, so like you said, increasing your reach is quite often intertwined with a lot of our other goals and stuff. So whether it is recruitment or wanting to get, expand into a new market or launch a new product or whatever your purpose is for being on Facebook, increasing your reach pretty much feeds into all of those.
Yeah.
That right on the knuckle. So one thing is tagging.
Yes.
Where appropriate.
Oh, wait, you don't just tag everyone on every post? Just because.
I would really like to know if the people who do that actually do see any long-term benefits from it.
Yeah, okay.
Because I would think if you were just one of those people who, when you put a post up, you tag a bunch of irrelevant pages and people and stuff.
Yeah.
When you first do it, they might be like, oh, okay, we'll like or comment on this. After you keep spamming them, do they keep fucking giving you further reach?
Yeah.
I would assume not, but maybe I'm just a little bit too pedantic when it comes to this.
I'm interested.
But I think tagging where appropriate is because I think it's basically spam in your notifications if someone just tags your page every time.
Well, if the whole theory of tagging someone is if we've done work with a client, we put up a post about it and we tag them. It's hey, we did this with you, we're sharing it so you can see it too.
Yes, it's relevant and appropriate.
And so your friends, your followers can see it too.
Yes.
When you tag 10 friends, 10 different businesses, does Facebook know? Do they go, hey, I see what you're doing, we're going to cut this off? That's the question I'm wondering.
I have no idea. Maybe
Let's
you should just get Zuck on the phone.
We'll save that one for another episode.
But yes, tagging where appropriate, because when you tag another page, then there's a potential that they will pick it up. But even then, depending on algorithms and stuff, it does mean that their followers can potentially get picked up on it. So like if they're tagged in a post, and then that post does well, like it has like good quality comments and stuff on it, then it could actually, even without them interacting with it, it can potentially show up on their feed too. So it's because it's quality content. So that's how it sort of works, as opposed to just having to interact with it.
Yeah.
But obviously if they interact with it, like if they like, comment, share, then that also gives you extra reach as well.
Cha-ching.
Yes.
So, but you're allowed to tag people in photos.
Yes.
That's tricky.
Just randomly tag is not good. But having said that, when you've got a brand page, you might have staff who don't want their personal Facebook page tagged in photos. And that's something to be respectful of as well, because just because you're using Facebook for business, 9 times out of 10, your staff aren't going to be using Facebook for business. So they might actually not want that. So it is something to be a little bit respectful when it comes. But having people in the photos is definitely a great way of increasing your reach. So, for example, if you're promoting an event and you have, a graphic with the event name and date, that's an announcement post. People might be interested.
Yeah.
However, if you had, say, photos of Lani and I at that event last year chugging a beer, which I wouldn't be doing.
Chugging a beer.
I know, I don't even know why the fuck I said that. Downing margaritas.
Yeah.
That's more on point.
We're there again.
And then you could still have an overlay of the event name and date and stuff. That is 9 times out of 10 going to get you a lot more reach than just the text only graphic.
People engage with those posts better. They can relate to them. There's people there. I'm a people. I could do that thing too.
Yes, 100%.
Not a dog. Mind you, dog photos would go well. Getting off topic.
Having animals does help in photos as well. I'm not going to lie. I should say people or animals in photos. But it is, so for example, if you've got, we've got a client and they do maintenance on equipment stuff, like trucks and shit. I don't know, dozers. There we go.
I have a client in mind right now.
I am. I'm trying to think of the word dozer. It's not in my everyday vernacular. So they do so, and so they'll send photos of a machine, an engine that's just been cleaned. And I'm like, cool, can we get one of your crew in there, even if he's pretending at the end, to clean it?
Yeah.
Because that will, I can nearly guarantee you that will get you better reach than just the photo of the actual product.
Yeah, Facebook likes them much more. They'll push it better, the algorithms.
But people just like seeing people. It's just, it's instinctual, it's biological. We're built that way. And then obviously if you can get video, that's also even better, because video performs super well on Facebook and LinkedIn to a certain extent. But they're saying that Instagram, the CEO for Insta, is actually saying they're going to dial back on the video and push images more, because that's what Insta was always meant to be about.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, that was a side note. Okay, so increasing your reach is also about using stories on Facebook. So Lani, why would we use stories?
Well, they're right at the top.
Yes, that is right.
Quizzing me. Goodness.
I'm allowed. Yes, there's top of your news feed, so you're not competing in the news feed or in the scroll with other posts and stuff. But it's also, I think, a different type of audience. There's some people who will look at stories and their newsfeed. There's some people who only look at their newsfeed. There's some people who only look at stories.
And the thing most people love about stories is they keep playing. So you don't
It is the most passive way we can consume content.
Don't have to do anything. We're like Facebook. I do nothing now.
Entertain me. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. Keep me informed, but also entertain me. This is all I ask.
Because
it's not hard.
This motion with your finger, I'm motioning up and down like a scroll.
It's too hard.
Very exhausted.
No, exactly. Very exhausted.
And if I've got a margarita in hand,
I only have so much bandwidth in hands. 100%.
Okay. How do you use them well, though?
So there is a reported psychological effect.
Of course there is.
That if you only have... Everyone's read this, right? It's not just me. If you only have a story that is one panel, apparently people feel let down.
Yeah.
Because it's they're expecting more.
Where's the rest of the story?
It's called a story. I don't think that's why they expect more, like, because it's the name of it, but it is literally, people do, so if you have something that is 2 to 3 panels, that is going to perform better
than just one
in the long term.
Okay.
So again, a lot of this is about your long-term thinking as well, because getting in front of someone's eyeballs once is, not that it's not hard, but like it's the easiest part to do.
Yeah.
Getting in front of their eyeballs consistently over and over, that's where you need to work for a little bit. And so if your stories, like if I know that you only put up like sharing other people's stories and it's 1 or 2 panels of just sharing something, I'm going to start tuning out to your stories because I'm like, well, that's just not, you've not created anything that's not original, it's not interesting to me.
Yeah.
And once I stopped interacting with your stories, you fall off my stories feed pretty much. So if you're going to be using stories, doing original quality content, more often than not, I'm not saying you can't do shares. Shares can still be very useful.
It's a competitive space, so you need to use it wisely.
Yeah, 100%. And just making sure that you're doing 2 or 3 panels. And that might mean, like, it could be, so say, for example, Lani and I might do a story on Rebel and it's like the 2 of us and I just realized I'm talking to you and saying Lani and I. You and I might do a story and it's like the 2 of us and it could have the marketing and margaritas you know,
call to action,
little text sort of thing. And then this next one could be the same photo but with a different text overlay or a sticker or something instead. So it doesn't mean you have to put up, you know, 2 or 3 panels doesn't mean 2 or 3 different photos
or videos.
Exactly, it can be the same thing but just done in a different way. 100%, yeah. And even doing like a text one. So if it's like a photo of us first and then the next panel is text only and it's got a bit more, you know, here's the key points of this week's podcast or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there is different ways you can utilize that.
Yeah. And I think too, it's just like with posting and stuff as well, like for stories, if you haven't done it before, I highly recommend you go and have a look at a bunch of different stories and see what you like.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like when people do stories? And then, again, it's not about copying, but it's about using that to then improve what you're doing as well.
Yes. And we're not making, like, dancing TikTok kind of real stories.
Well, we're sure it's not.
Business related. We're talking about your business Facebook.
Although I have danced on videos a couple of times, but it's more excited dance, like, look what we got in the mail, as opposed to the...
Yeah, the structure. Yeah. I wouldn't even know how to start one of them. I feel like I've just, like, hit middle age and just been like, I'm too old for this now. See you later.
You've just hit middle age. Really? How many years younger than me are you? Like a billion?
I know, that's why it's taken me so long.
Wow, you're a lot of fun today, aren't you?
So the next part we want to talk about in this section is live video.
Oh, wow. Yes, that is the last bit of this section. We didn't jump ahead.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Why use live video, Macaulay?
So live video is, obviously, like we were saying before, video does very well on Facebook, but not everyone has the money or the time or the patience to actually shoot video, edit video, proof video, update video, upload video.
Look, I'm just going to take this moment to say a quick shout out to Josh for that for us, for the likes of our podcast.
Yeah, because some of us fucking hate video.
And Hayley, we also have,
yes.
It's not just us, we have a whole team that is just wonderful. 100%. We highly recommend outsourcing components of that kind of content as well.
But yeah, so live gives you the opportunity to do video, but it's time and cost effective.
Yeah.
So when you're doing live, it's not expected that it's going to be some big polished,
it's
edited.
It's not a TV ad.
Exactly. People, it's raw and everything. And as far as socials go, lives are also really authentic and genuine and in the moment. So it really feeds in well with the overall purpose of Facebook. Gets pushed in the algorithm. People get notifications when you're going live, unless they've turned them off, which again, like I keep saying, things have to be quality.
Yeah.
And, you know, so in the short term, you might do your first live and get a bunch of people looking, but if it was a piece of shit, or you were just like, hi guys, I'm just tuning in to see how everyone is, all right, bye.
Yeah.
Then next time yours comes up, they're going to be like, turn off that notification.
Yeah, they do this every second day. It's really annoying.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like anything, if you're going to do something, you've got to do it well. But yes, it's very good for that.
How are lives rating at the moment with different changes from Facebook? I haven't seen very many myself of late.
I think that people haven't been doing them as much
because the
of
reels
late.
have kind of taken over a bit at the moment.
Yeah. So reels, like that short form content is so like important and being pushed and everything. So it's like we all have only so much bandwidth. So it's like I hate using that word all the time. We all have only so much time and energy. So it's like, okay, if reels are really getting pushed at the moment, then that's where I'm going to be doing, that's where I'm going to spend my time creating content. And 100% like be doing reels and stuff for video if you have that time or whatever. But I guess this is just like our little cheat sheet of how to increase your reach without putting in all the extra effort of actually being a marketing agency.
Yeah.
And for most people, creating videos and reels.
It's quite time consuming. Even for us, it's time consuming. It is.
If you're wanting to do video but in a quicker, easier way, then
Facebook Live's the way to go.
Yeah, 100%.
Fabulous.
And yes, again, is like how do you do them well is making sure that, like, again, while it doesn't have to be a super professional production, I do think that, you know, having good lighting, having a look what's in your background, the amount of people who do photos and videos and stuff in bathrooms and stuff, but for businesses as well. I'm like, get out of the fucking bathroom. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? Who takes photo? Anyway, it's a whole big thing. I really don't get it.
Rubbish bins irk me in the back of photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember that real estate one when we were at Real Estate Plus, and they had like this beautiful photo shoot of a house, and then the rubbish bins and they had the rubbish bins beside the house, and then they also had the pool cleaner in the pool, and it was like the professional photos. And I'm like, move the bins, move the creepy crawly. What is wrong with you?
It's the little details that make a big difference. Look,
because it stands out like, hugely when you're actually looking at it on the other side.
We're a bit anal. We do notice these things. We like it's the thing.
I think other people notice stuff like that too.
I'm not sure how much other people notice these things. I'm hoping more do, and that we're not that weird, but you know, it is a thing.
And again, you know, when you're looking at, you know, how to do video lives well, etc., like that, is to have a look at what other people are doing. Yeah. And that will give you a really good indication. I think that, you know, live video still gets used a lot by like news media and that type of thing. But at the same time, like I've seen brands do it very well, where it is that, you know, we're going to do a Q&A. Here's some questions that I've got. And it's like a short, rapid fire, like not all the extra rambly bullshit like I do, but you know what I mean? Like it's really, there's some really good ways of using lives, but to find what's going to be useful to you and your industry, your business, your audience, have a look at what others are doing.
Do some research.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, a product launch is a great one to do as well if you've got that coming up quite often. But prepare and keep it succinct.
Yeah, and I think that's it too. It's like being a bit prepared with it as well. Like just because it's alive in the moment doesn't mean you can't be organised about it.
And look, if you're not super comfortable behind camera, maybe don't start with a live. Maybe start with a couple of like video Facebook stories or reels to practice.
Yeah, another way of making lives easier too is to actually do it like we're doing now. So it's like have your, you know, phone or whatever set up over here, and then the two of us, or like not the two of us, have you with somebody else just sitting there like kind of going off with each other, because that's a little bit easier than looking at a camera all the time.
Can be confronting.
Yeah, it is. Like that face to camera style. If you're not ready for it, don't do it. Like do it so that you're having conversation with someone. Or if you're at an event, you could be like panning the event and just talking over the top of it. So again, it's not you on the camera.
Yeah. Lots of different ways to do it. Do some research.
Yes.
Fabulous. So that is our 3 points for you.
Yeah.
Wrap up, because we like to give you extra tips, is engaging with your audience.
Yes. So socials are not just about you talking, like me, you know now.
No, so
it's a conversation.
Social media is you're being social, you're talking to your audience, you've nutted down who they are, you're wanting to engage with them. If they comment on your posts, reply.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just if they're asking a question, if they've actually said something, even if it's just a statement, you'd be like, yeah, 100% agree with that. Or so glad you feel the same way. Or like, it doesn't have to be a lot. It's not rocket science. But it's creating that relationship with them. Yeah. For one sense, it is like if someone's gone to the effort of putting a comment onto your post, then you acknowledging it is like a good way of building conversation with them. It's also perception. So I've had clients who have taken over their socials. I'm like, oh my God, you've got a bunch of comments here that you haven't replied to. And she's like, no, I replied to them. I just DM'd them. And I'm like, yeah, but for me, going on there and having a look, it doesn't look like
all
anyone.
I can see, it looks like you're not replying to anyone. And she was like, yeah, dude, perception is important. We're in marketing here.
Your message might be private, so you might, absolutely take it to a private message. But just
I've DM'd you.
Yeah.
Like, just so people know that you've replied to them.
This is a great question. Let's chat some more.
Basically. But also, like, yeah, if someone has commented, then you, like, responding to them also increases your relevancy score with them as well. So it's good for the algorithm, it's good for the one-on-one interaction, and it's good for the public perception. So there's really no reason not to do it, except if someone is just tagging someone else.
Yeah.
I don't respond to those ones because I think, like, if I see an event and I tagged you in it, and then the business was to, like, go, oh, we hope to see you there or something like that, I'd be like, fuck off, this is a private conversation.
I'm not sure everyone would feel that way, but I can see your point.
Well, because I think if I tag you in something to, like, let you know about it, that's not me interacting with them.
Yeah,
that is actually me interacting with you. So I don't think if you see someone has tagged someone in one of your posts, I don't think you need to do anything with that.
No,
is where I'm
agree.
getting to.
Yes, you just went that little step.
I'm not saying they're going to tell you to fuck off. But I just don't think you need to.
Okay, so on that, you've already gone to the effort of either fortnightly or monthly scheduling out your content. You are not done. Check in on your Facebook page, check your inbox and your notifications.
Yes.
At least weekly.
And the one, I'm not going to say the only good thing, but one of the few good things about Meta Business Suite is that now all of your Instagram comments and messages and your Facebook comments and messages are in one inbox.
Yeah.
So you can see them all in one tab, or you can go to the separate tabs, but it's all in the one dashboard. And that has actually been pretty much the only thing I like so far about Meta Business Suite.
I like the planning tool.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually don't create socials as much like when I say as much, I mean I do like once a month for us, maybe one or two posts. So yeah, I do actually find that the planner tool for the most part is pretty cool.
I quite like the month you can see it all laid out. I quite like that.
Yeah, same.
Okay. So question we get is how do I respond to comments on messages? So you've already done all the planning. You've talked about your personality and your brand alignment. Continue that tone and that personability, making up words now, when you're messaging.
I'm letting you have it because that's a good one. Personability. I think we should make that a thing.
Added to Urban Dictionary.
I'll let you finish your point.
So my favorite is to have a log of common responses, whether just one person is managing your social media or a whole team, or like I said, you're alternating it around. If you've got a log of commonly asked questions, especially about things you get asked all the time, when you're open, do you offer this service, like that kind of thing.
And I just would add to it as you go. So don't think you need to sit there and create the document.
Start a document.
And it's sort of like if someone asks a question and you write a good response to it, go, actually I worded that really well this time.
Yeah.
Copy and paste that into that document. If you get asked that question a lot and, on the 5th time you give a good response, then change out the response you've had.
Yeah.
The other thing that this is really useful for too is that you can then kind of template your responses so that you're giving more to the person who's asking a question, but you're also helping yourself. So, for example, if someone was to comment and be like, what time is this event on? You can be like, it's going to be 6:30 on Friday the 13th, and here's the link to book.
Yeah.
Whereas if if you were just quickly responding, you'd be like Friday the 13th at 7 p.m. or whatever. Whereas if you have that templated response, you can put a little bit more thought into going, okay, once they know the date, they're probably going to want to book. And even though the link might be up further, just make it super easy for people to purchase from you.
Yeah, to continue on in that sales funnel.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like you're pushing them to do it, like make sure you get in now or whatever.
No, there's one less click, if not multiple less clicks.
It's how you're writing, just saying literally like, it's on at this time, here's the link if you want to book, or if there's anything else you want, blah, 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 sort of thing.
Fabulous. And this can also be a really handy tool for updating your website for things like your FAQ pages, or if you are feedback for your team, if someone is writing posts but you're always getting asked a certain question, maybe you're not hitting the nail on the head with your messaging, so it's a good reference tool for that as well.
Sorry, I'm not giggling at you, I'm just giggling because the last time we brought up FAQs was when we were talking about SEO, which was like literally in the first 10 episodes, and I was like, yeah, we're working on our FAQ page now. Hopefully it'll be live by the time this podcast comes out, and it's still not up.
Geez, Jade, what have you been doing all year?
Nothing.
All right, guys, I hope you have enjoyed the very highly sought after episode on Facebook.
Yeah, 3 whole people.
Well, it counts. They've asked.
And again, if it's those 3 people actually haven't mentioned it, there might be other people who are like, oh yeah, that would
Just
probably be good to have.
Is this week going to be fit? No, not this week. Maybe no,
Maybe
not next week.
It's today.
All right, thank you for joining us. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Marketing and Margaritas. Find more free marketing tips, tricks and laughs at rebelnation.com.au.